Hey guys, 4G Gaming here. I'm gonna be trying to analyze one of my videos, and yeah. So just to begin with, the opener here for Fire Mage, as you'll see, this is running with Fire Starter. So I basically just Fireball into Fire Blast into Pyroblast, and I'm just spamming Fireball Pyroblast. Yeah, you just keep going. So here I get a Bracer proc. And what I end up doing is I do a Fireball Pyro, and then finish with another Pyro, and then begin casting my charge. So the reason for this is because, well, first of all, the boss is at 91%, so I'm probably gonna combust by the end of this cast. Since, you know, if I didn't combust by the end of this cast, it wouldn't crit, and obviously you don't want that. So yeah. Gonna combust, I believe, at the end of this cast. Yep. And then I just nod the thumb ring at the same time into another Pyroblast. And then from here is just, you know, the classic Fire Blast, Pyroblast, you know, spam Phoenix Flame. Always use your generators. Fire Blast first into Phoenix, and then Phoenix Flames as secondaries. And then the important thing here to notice is that I didn't use my Meteor yet, and I'll use it right here. So just to go into detail about why I do that, it's because with Meteor, since it takes up a global in your combustion, sometimes if you're unlucky, what will end up happening is that because you spent that global on the Meteor during the combustion, you might not be able to fit a hard cast Pyroblast in. And if that does happen, it's really bad. So I like to always use my Meteor towards the end, because at the end of my cast there's no way I'm going to fit a hard cast Pyro anyway. So as you'll see here, I end up using it at 2 seconds left, and with Lust and Streaking I think I had at one point, I don't know, but with Lust at least I know that I can't fit a Pyroblast in. So this way I know that it won't interrupt any Pyroblasts. The downside of this is that the Meteor burn, the dot afterwards, won't actually have a guaranteed crit. But after a bunch of simming, it is technically a DPS loss, but it's like a 1k DPS loss if you don't get the Pyroblast, the Pyroblast like occurrence happening. But if you do get the Pyroblast and you do end up missing it, that's a much bigger DPS loss. It's kinda RNG, and it depends on what you want to do. This is personally how I like to do it. If you want to do something else, you can put Meteor towards the start. That works too, you know, so it's really not a big deal. I just like RNG, you know. So after the opener, you know, it's classic things. It's Fireball, nothing special. Use your Pyroblast as you go. One thing I notice when I watch lower parses is that they don't really utilize the movement of Shimmer and moving between globals perfectly. So like you'll see me in the video, I end up using my Shimmer to like move out of beams when I can, and I also try to move between globals. So like every time I Fireball Pyro, I move a little bit while I'm in global cooldown. You see it? Like it's a perfect example. These micro movements you're not going to be able to cast anyway, so this is the best time to be able to move. Meteor on cooldown, it's pretty basic over here. Not much really happening right now, it's just waiting for your cooldowns. Yeah, shimmering like that. It's really important to know the cooldown timings per boss. So I know on this boss I'm gonna barely fit my third combustion in, and sometimes with Meteor, you kind of just want to use it on the cooldown. Honestly, there's no reason not to. You can kind of try and game it with Pyrotic Incantation, but it's kind of risky, and if you fuck up, it's a DPS loss. Yeah, as long as you can use it on cooldown, you can hold it for 10 seconds, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. At this fight duration, at least. On longer fight durations, it does matter, but yeah. So here, 50%. Things are coming back up, so I mirror image, and this is the important thing that I want to point out right here. Let me rewind that actually, sorry. So this is something that I've noticed a lot of mages not doing. So here, like, well, first of all, notice that I second potted right before my combustion, and I mirror imaged first, right? You always mirror image before your combustion, because, you know, casting mirror image in combustion is just not worth the global, straight up. So I fireball. You want to fireball until you get a heating up, right? So I see right there, this moment, I notice that I have a heating up and my combustion's coming back. This is exactly what I want. So right before this cast ends, what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna press in this exact order: combustion, fire blast, pyroblast. Now what that will do is, because I'm casting combustion at the end of fireball, the fireball is obviously gonna crit as well. So when those two spells crit, I'm gonna get another instant hot streak, which will let me cast a second pyroblast. So I'll let it play and you guys will see what I mean. So fireball, combustion, fire blast, pyroblast, and instantly another pyroblast right there. And then I spend it, and then I start hard casting my pyro. You know, cast your fire blast to get an extra pyretic stack, and, you know, just get a hot streak in general for smoother gameplay. Finish that off, and yeah, it's back to the normal opener. And you'll see me do the same thing here with Meteor. I hold it till the very end of combustion. You'll notice I didn't really go for any AoE, because I don't know, like, Flame Patch is good on many targets, and there were many targets there, but Flame Patch wouldn't have lasted. The ads would have died before Flame Patch ended. So I elected to not go for it. Also, it was kind of scumbaggy if I did. So yeah, I just had to go for the boss damage. And yeah, it's just back to normal rotation again. Nothing special really going on right now. Not in Krosus at least. Just clean shimmer movements. There's not a second that I'm not casting as long as I'm in range. Yeah, I don't know, just always use shimmers whenever you can. Move between globals, yeah. That's about it. So right here, you see my execute weak aura come up, which is the streaking, or the the scorch icon, which means I can now, yeah, execute. So right here, that was a mistake by me. Thankfully I didn't get punished. If I use my, let me rewind just to pinpoint it again. So Meteor is fine. Okay, right here, I have a bracer proc, and I start casting another scorch. That was a complete mistake. It's not a big deal to cast one scorch since I have no heating up right now. It's completely fine. But this is where the problem happens. That scorch. If this scorch finishes and I get a hot streak, and I use the hot streak, and my bracer proc can get munched. What I mean by that is I'll get a second bracer proc if I'm luckily unlucky, I guess, in a way. And that's obviously a huge DPS loss. So right here, after the first scorch, I should have cast my pyroblast, which would have led into a fire blast into a second pyroblast, and then go on with the scorch. I got unluckily lucky, and I didn't really get another bracer proc, so I just went and hard cast it here. No big deal. This was actually another mistake I made. I used Nod Thumb Ring. So from previous attempts I had on this boss, or previous weeks of this boss, I barely fit 3 combustions in, and Fire Mage got buffed on this reset. So I felt like, looking at the health of the boss and the cooldown of my timer, the timer of my cooldown, sorry, that I wouldn't be able to fit a third one. So I elected to use my Nod Thumb Ring now, thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna use a hard cast Pyroblast with my Bracer proc, and I'm in a Scorch Execute phase, right? And I have 2 Fire Blasts and a Phoenix Lamp. Like, this is the highest damage opportunity I'm gonna get outside of my cooldowns. And I thought that I wouldn't get any more cooldowns. So I ended up getting more cooldowns back. Like, I do end up getting my Combustion Mirror Image back. So I should have actually saved my Nod Thumb Ring. But it was in the moment, so yeah. Another thing I noticed is a lot of mages don't use Execute phase properly. So what you'll see me doing throughout this fight is, I'll always well, at least not. I might not always do it, but most of the time I'll pyroblast before before I have a hot streak. Oh yeah, no. What I mean to word it as is like, you know when you fireball, and then you get a hot streak, and then you fireball pyroblast afterwards. You don't want to do that in execute phase, and that's what I'm gonna avoid trying to do. It does happen sometimes. It's hard to avoid, but you want to try and minimize it. So yeah, like as soon as I get a hot streak, I use it. I don't precast another spell before it. The reason for that is, if anyone's wondering, is because if I do get another, if that pyro does not crit, but my scorch obviously does, like if I did cast an extra one, the scorch will give me heating up, but the pyro won't crit, or might not crit, and then that would cancel the heating up, and you know, lost heating ups isn't good. So yeah. Yeah. You know, double soaking, of course, because I can, pretty much. I'm not sure. I think I go for a flame strike here. Yeah, I did cast a flame strike. It hit like what, 4 targets, including the boss. That's definitely worth it. Kind of patty, but I mean, hey, ads needed to die, you know. As you see here, I'm holding Meteor. You know, nothing too advanced. Yeah, cooldowns come back. Oh, so in execute phase, one thing I want to point out is the burst opener goes back to what it used to be. You don't do the fireball casting anymore. You just straight up Meteor, and then combustion, pyroblast, just like that. If you want, actually, you could scorch before it, but it's kind of risky if you have higher haste, because the Meteor will drop. And if you combust too late, or if Scorch for some reason is too slow, then it might get fucked up. But you know, honestly, it's not that big of a deal in the execute phase. But you know, if you want to get extra damage, you can do it. And yeah, from there it's just, yeah, that's the fight. Yeah. So thanks for watching. This is a first time experience for me, so sorry if like the editing, well, it's not really editing because I'm not editing anything, but the production quality is pretty garbage, and I know that. I'm sorry. I'll probably work on it in the future. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can either PM me on Discord, or you can post it on the comments or anything like that, and I'll try to reply as soon as I can. Yeah, hopefully I'll produce more of these. Tell me if you guys have any suggestions, improvements, things you liked, didn't like, anything really. Yeah, thank you and have a good day. Good luck with your parses.